Hi, my name is Zazil Moreno. I work for the Oregon Department of Human Services. I have been at ODHS for 6 years. I started as a Child Protective Services worker, and I applied and I got a promotion for coaching and training specialist, and that give me the opportunity to help and train all the new workers the first year in their career with child welfare. And yes, I am part of that percentage that they got a promotion while in this program. And now I'm a child protector services supervisor. And a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Mexico, in Guadalajara, Jalisco. I moved to United States 22 years ago, and I didn't know English. I didn't know one word, and now I'm here. I have two beautiful daughters and one wonderful husband, and that's the why I'm here too. They push me to do things. And the other thing why I'm here is because I'm going to be talking to you about cultural competency in child welfare using the addressing model in Linn County. Well, you're going to be asking me, Zazil, why are we talking about cultural competency? Well, being a child protective services worker and also helping and supporting new workers, it helped me to see that cultural competency could be improved in child welfare. We are not asking a lot of questions about culture or who our families are to understand them. And if we don't ask those questions, staff do not have full understanding of the families we are working with. And if we don't understand the families that we are working with, are we offering the right services that our families need? And also, 4 years ago, we had a change of our directors, and they created what is called Child Welfare Vision for Transformation. And I'm going to read you the vision of transformation, but this quote making me stay where I am, because they see the child welfare need a change. They understand that not all the people look the same and not all the family are the same. And the vision for transformation is based on a belief that children do best growing up in a family and on values related to honoring and supporting cultural wisdom, building communities, resilience, and voice, and ensuring the self-determination of our community of color. When I heard that, I was, okay, they're seeing people, they are Afro-American, they are brown, they're seeing other colors, and it made me stay. It made me to understand, well, they're looking at people that look like me. In order for the first thing I did to understand what was happening in Oregon was looking at this proportionality data. Like you can see, the Black and African American total population in Oregon is 3.8%, and children in care is 7.1%. Can you see how much the disproportionality is in Black and African American? In Hispanic, the total population is 22.6%, and total in foster care is 18.6%. American Indian or Alaskan Native, the total population in Oregon is 1.5%, and total in care is 4.7%. This made me think, okay, what are we doing? Are we understanding this family? Are we asking the right questions to understand the family? And what I learned from what I learned from this proportionality data is that if we don't understand their specific needs, how do we know we are doing and offering the right services for our families? We don't. And and I understood also that we can do a better job listening and asking questions to get to know our families that we are serving. And I'm not talking just about Oregon as an agency. I'm calling every single agency in United States my PICO. After I learned the proportionality numbers, after I learned from the workers, we created my PICO. And my PICO read the following. If trainers, supervisors, and workers receive training on how to utilize the addressing model for determining and addressing family needs, will be lead to better assessments and planning for services, and ultimately improve adoption, guardianship, and kinship outcomes. But how are we going to do it? And how this one person can help a little bit the community is, and this was my methodology. First, I checked the disproportionality numbers in Oregon. That's what we went over. Also, I review Linn County home studies and family reports. Home studies are studies that the certification team or certification worker do to families that want to be a resource parents or they're ready to adopt. And family reports are created by permanency workers that are working with families in the long term. After that, we created a training in cultural competency using the addressing model by Paulo Hayes, and we developed feedback survey. I'm sorry. What was the goal of all these? The goal of this effort is for our staff to be knowledgeable about cultural difference and their impact on attitudes and behaviors, sensitive, understanding, non-judgmental, and respectfully in doing with people whose cultures are different than theirs. And why are we doing that is to be able to better serve, help, and support our communities. Workers are not able to understand the families that they are working when they come to their supervisor, and the supervisor don't have the entire picture and they are not able to make the right decision for that family or offer the right services or analyze the family correctly. And how we come to this is, like I say, I read 42 home studies in certification. From those 42 studies, only 4 were talking about family culture. And when I'm talking about, they were talking about family culture, they were talking about just holidays, how they celebrate their major holidays, how they celebrate Christmas, if they celebrate Christmas, just small things. I also read 32 family reports. That's for the permanency unit, and only 6 were talking about family culture. And again, they were talking, okay, they're coming from a Caucasian family, but that's it. We were not asking more questions. And this data confirmed the need to start from the basic and offer training about cultural competency. And I choose the addressing model by Paula Hayes. How we created the cultural competency is first to add cultural competency in our daily work to help and support our families we serve. The second, if we understand our families, we can serve them better in a better way. And if the agency we offer services specific to the cultural needs of the families, could we help to reduce disproportionality? Absolutely. If we're asking the right questions to understand the specific needs to that family, do you think they're going to get engaged faster? And maybe also if we engage the family faster, we can return that child faster um, to the parents. How we created, because we were a team creating the training. First, I'm gonna tell you what is the addressing model. The addressing model is a framework that facilitates recognition and understanding of the complexity of an individual identities. That's the addressing model. And we create the cultural competency, also using the four components of the cultural competency. There are awareness, attitude towards cultural difference, knowledge of different cultural practice, and cross-cultural skills. In the same training, we discuss the why and the goal of cultural competency. Always start with the why. Why are we doing, and what is in for the worker and for the families? We presented the addressing model and how this can help us to understand families. And first, I went over how I did with you, explaining what is the addressing model. We review different questions from the addressing model and had discussion and activity. And this is the addressing model. I went over what is the addressing model. It's a frame of, I'm gonna go over again. It's a framework that facilitates recognition and understanding of the complexity of individual independence. And yes, the addressing is an acronym. Yes. A is for age and generational influences. D is for developmental or other disability. R is for religion and spirituality. E is for ethnic and racial identity. S for social class. Another S for sexual orientation. I for indigenous heritage, and N for national origin, and G for gender. And we went over each letter, and we created a couple questions, like to create like a sheet for the worker to go out and use it. For example, in the age and generational influences, we create and we use it from the Paulo Hayes book, page 44. You will find a lot of the questions. And in A, she used in the era when you were born, what were the social expectations? What are they now? That is just one example of the type of questions that we were using to help the worker to ask the families they were serving. And like I said before, we created a survey. And we asked the knowledge about the addressing model before and after. You can see before the how to use the addressing model for determining if a family needs. The high before was 10% and the high after was 80%. And I forgot to mention that we had around 39 between workers, supervisors, and coaches attending the training, and they were the one who answered those questions. And you can see the before and after was very impactful. And the how to use the addressing model for addressing a family needs question was 0 in before and 78%. And if you can see before, we have workers that had been here for a long time and they didn't know about this and how this training make the impact. How does cultural competency addressing moral impact practice? After the training and seeing the interactions and me being a supervisor and coach, it helped me to understand that helps workers to identify the culture of each family through the addressing model. How many times we hear a worker, well, I don't understand the family, where they're coming from. Well, this model can help them to understand. Identifies and discuss culture of each family to offer them specific services for their specific needs. Not all our families are the same, and each family have their specific needs. Could help workers to engage families faster in the process. Like I said before, if the families, this is specific for the families. If the families see that value, they are going to engage in the process faster. And it may reduce the time the children are in care. What is next? What is next for me after the experience? Well, first, I'm not going to stop. I would like to implement and continue training around cultural competency, involve staff and creating and presenting training. And this one I say this because when I finished the training I did with the workers, supervisors, and coaches, I have workers coming to me and say, hey, can I be involved in training? Can I present? And I was absolutely, if we have workers engaged in this process, they're going to have a buy-in and see the value of this, and you can increase engagement too. How many of our agencies are suffering with engagement? I'm adding trainings for LGBTQ plus community, equa, and intersectionality. And I also would like to go to other units or districts to present the trainings. MPLD impact. This is full disclaimer. Being a person of color doesn't make me an expert in cultural competency. It makes me aware, but I was not an expert. But after these past 12 months, I learned so much about cultural competency, and now I'm not afraid to share those experiences with people. It gave me the opportunity to create and present trainings about one of my biggest passions, that is cultural competency. It helped me to understand my leadership role and how I can impact others. And I want to say, I want to be very honest, I found my voice. Being here in front of you, and it's nerve-wracking, and English is my second language, and it made me MPLD. It made me to break that nervous or scary part. Well, I'm gonna be presenting in a different language. Guess what? I'm doing it, and I'm doing it right. Thank you for all the support. It helped me to believe in myself and believe that I belong here. And that's my presentation.